Welcome to another episode of Middle Ground with L.L.C, where we treat you like family. That's the theme song, Detroit Love, from my first album, The JLE Experience. I own the music and the copyright, so don't mute nothing Facebook. I always seem to got to say that nowadays. Oh, Lord. I'm a collar, right? Okay, looking more professional. We got another great guest for you today. That has fun. We have Good Measure Inc. NonProfit Executive Director, Kim Glenn. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you for doing it. Got a few, to me, basic questions. Talk about how awesome you are and the stuff you're doing. First question: what led you to this path?
Well, so what led me to my nonprofit is it's a long story, but I'll try to make it short.
Take your time.
I was an insurance agent for over 20 years, and
Okay.
I worked for Zurich, one of the largest commercial
Oh,
insurance companies
okay.
there is. So I made a little change, but I wasn't
Nice.
happy. I wasn't happy. I wasn't fulfilled. I mean, when I got my paycheck, I was happy. I looked at the numbers and I'm like, oh, yeah. When
Mm-hmm.
I got my bonus, I was happy. I looked at the numbers and I was like, oh, yeah. But just in general, I just was not happy with what I was doing.
Okay.
And I knew without a doubt that it was because I was not walking, working, living, breathing in my purpose.
Okay.
And so a couple of things happened in my life, and God would tell me, this is not, I go to him, I complain, Lord, I don't like this job, blah 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 blah. You know how we do, but he
Yeah,
would give me
yeah.
he would give me direction, and then I go back to work. I'm like, but I gotta have this money, I gotta buy this purse, I gotta buy these shoes, I gotta go on this trip. And
Mm-hmm.
so he gave me opportunity after opportunity to stop doing what I was doing and to move in the path that he wanted me to go in. But I
Okay.
didn't listen. I was hard headed. So
I know
in
that was struggle.
yes, so in 2012, my
Okay.
father got really sick with cancer, and my job was pretty cool because I could take my laptop and do what I had to do, talk to my customers, my book of business. I had
Okay.
like about a $3 million book of business, so I had a big
Oh,
book of
wow.
business. And so like I said, in 2012 he got really sick, and I'm from Tennessee originally, so
Okay.
I wound up going to Tennessee helping my mom take care of my dad. Well, doing
Mm-hmm.
that whole process, my body, with the stress, they say with the stress and trauma and just everything that I went through dealing with that, it caused my body to shut down. And it caused my good cells to start attacking my bad cells, which in turn formed a autoimmune disorder or an autoimmune immune disease in my body. So from that came other issues,
Mm-hmm.
fibromyalgia, psoriatic arthritis. I just started going through all of these different things. One day I just got up and could barely walk. I could barely walk, could barely
Mm-hmm.
do anything. My husband had to take me to emergency. I would just have these episodes, and the doctors really couldn't find out basically what was wrong, other than the fact that they said I had an autoimmune disorder.
Okay.
Um, so then the body part wasn't as bad because I could still kind of press my way through.
Mm-hmm.
But here again, God's sending me signs, and I'm still trying to keep working, still doing what I'm doing. Um, but then it started to affect my mind. I
Oh.
started to get memory fog. I started forgetting things. I've been in Michigan for 31 years. And one day I was supposed to be going to my doctor's office. I was going down Michigan Avenue. I don't know if you're
Mm-hmm.
familiar with the Dearborn area, but I was going to Michigan
Yeah.
Avenue, headed towards like Fairlane Mall. And all of a sudden, as I'm driving, because my doctor's office was on Monroe, all of a sudden, as I'm driving, I just look and I just panic. And I get really scared because nothing looks familiar to me.
Oh,
Nothing.
wow.
And so I start panicking. I pull over. I call my husband. I'm like, I'm lost. I don't know where I am. And he guided me through, got me where I needed to be, went to the doctor. And Of course, now the autoimmune disorder is starting to affect the cells in my brain. So I'm like,
Wow.
okay, Lord. So now, I'm like, he's still giving me these signals, but he had to do that because then at that point, if you know a lot about insurance, you have to know policies. It's a lot of reading, it's boring, but it's a lot of stuff that you have to know.
Hmm.
I couldn't keep up with it. So I had to leave the job.
Okay.
Now, had I probably left the job when he told me to leave it, I probably
Hmm.
wouldn't have gone through all the things that I've gone through, and wouldn't end up with what I have. So now
Hmm.
I struggle with this autoimmune disease, and the autoimmune disease, like I said, sometimes it just breaks you down. As you can see, I don't have any hair. I started off, and I was a person where, man, I was at the salon every 2 weeks, like getting my hair done, getting my spikes in order. I would not leave out unless my beautician had it right, tight. I would have color.
Uh-huh.
I mean, people would be like stopping me. Who does your hair? I mean, I was like that addicted to my hair. Like it had to be in place.
Hmm.
And so I started having issues with my scalp, and it had wound up falling out around the edges. I went and got the injections, and it came back. So I said, okay, cool, no problem. Started doing it again, doing my hair and everything. But this time it fell out, didn't come back.
Oh wow.
So fast forward from 2012 to 2014, because it took me
Yeah.
from 2012 to 2014 to finally listen to God. So 2014, I got to the point where I just couldn't do my job anymore. I said, Lord, okay, I can't do it. I understand. I can't do it. So I stopped doing that. Now, in the
Hmm.
midst of stop doing that, I'm a people person. So being at home was like, I can't do this. I just can't
Like
do
you're
it.
on lockdown.
I just couldn't do it. It was like I'm like, okay, I need somebody to talk to. I just can't do this.
Hmm.
So applied, and I started working at the schools. So I applied at the board office, and they signed me up to be the subsecretary for the district, for the Romulus School District.
Okay.
So with that, I would start. And what I did was when I went in, I could, like, they would text me that night before to see if I was available. So I could
Hmm.
take it if I wanted to. If I didn't, if I wasn't feeling good, okay, no, I didn't take it. So that
Okay.
kind of worked out really well. So going into the school system was a big, big eye opener. Now, I've always loved kids. I've always wanted to work with kids. Um, I was going to school to be for elementary ed.
Uh-huh.
I had a home daycare. It's always been kids, kids, kids. I brought youth home with me. My husband's
Hmm.
like, "Don't you bring another person in this house to live here?" I mean, I would just get kids. Somehow they would just start bringing their clothes and then wind up living here. So I was always just attached to kids. Sunday school teacher, youth choir direct overseer,
Yeah.
just kids. So, and working at the schools, excuse me, I gotta take a drink.
Go ahead.
I'm dealing with this throat issue, so I apologize. But in working at the
You
schools,
fine.
I realized that there was a lot of work to be done, and that these kids needed somebody. I know I couldn't
Mhm.
save all of them, but I said to myself, if I can save one or two of them, then that's what I'm going to do. So I would start like just talking to them. Some of them would come in
Okay.
there. It would be the repeat ones coming to the office all the time. And, I would be kind of like the middle person. Like they'd send him to the office to go see the principal. Well, if the principal wasn't ready for him, I'd be talking to him like, why you in there acting up? You're supposed to, I would talk to them like, and they
Like
would be
Big
looking
Mama.
at me like, this lady is crazy. And
Uh-huh.
I would tell them, I said, you know what? You better get in there and you better go back to your class. You apologize to your teacher and you sit down and you do your work. You hear me? And they would do that, but they would come back the next day, give me a hug, or they would come and say hi. And I noticed that it's just like they just wanted some attention. And so I started, getting these relationships with these kids. And,
Hmm.
I would tell them, like if they come in and their pants would be sagging, or, just kind of,
Hmm.
boy, pull your pants up. Don't nobody want to see your dirty underwear. Just talking to them in a way that they can relate. And
Hmm.
so in working with that and then having to send out truancy letters and different things like that, um, I would understand how some of the kids weren't coming to school, not because they didn't want to, but because they were just dealing with so much trauma at home. You know, we had
Yeah.
kids that their parents got into a fight the night before. The mother stabbed the
Pay the
father. You got to
parent.
watch him go to jail. You got the middle school kid watching four siblings under him because his
Hmm.
mama's out at night and he can't go to sleep because he got to make sure the little kids are okay. You got
Hmm.
babies raising babies because the mamas, for whatever reason, some of them, didn't have a good reason. They was just out in the streets, but some of them worked. So it was so many reasons why these kids weren't coming to school, but people weren't really digging to find out what is going on. It's like I looked and said that it's kind of hard for sometimes people to understand our culture if you're not familiar with our culture. If you're from, if you're from, let's just say Fenton, and you come and work in a Black community, you're not going
Yeah,
to
it's all different.
understand what Black kids are dealing with. You're not going to understand
Mhm.
them coming in. They got all this going on in their head because their mom and daddy was fighting all night, and the mama stabbed the daddy, and the police came and they went to jail. You're not going to understand all that. You're not going to understand that you may live in a crack house. You don't understand any of that.
And no big
So
mamas.
they don't understand, so they don't know how to deal with the kids because they first don't understand the kids. They don't
That's
understand their environment. They don't
true.
understand their life, their lifestyle, and not anything that they did on their own. That's not the kid's choice. That's just the way it is. But
Yeah.
a lot of the teachers, the principals, a lot of the staff, they don't understand that.
Yep.
And to me, we're doing our kids a disservice because you can sometimes go into these schools and you see the majority of the teachers are white. Why?
Okay.
Why? It's like, why? You're setting these kids up for failure because number one, these teachers that are in charge of them and are teaching them don't know their learning styles. They don't know how to really relate to them. They're probably 9 times out of 10 afraid of them and intimidated by them. And so there, I said, you know what? I need to jump in and try to help.
Not to say they're not good teachers, just
No, 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 because they
a
are. There's a lot of good teachers,
lot of
but
cultural stuff plays into it.
we we need to do a better job at training the teachers to every child is not going to be that A child that's in the box right here.
Hmm.
You got to be able to get to those kids that are outside of the box. And the majority of the kids today are outside of the box because there's so much that's going on in the world that they have to deal with. It takes
Hmm.
them out of the box. So it's not like school used to be when we went to school. I mean, we went to school, we didn't have to worry about somebody coming in shooting up the school. We didn't have to
Oh,
worry about all of the stuff that these kids have to worry about.
that was normal at Cooley High School, unfortunately.
Well, I'm sorry, it wasn't normal at my school.
It wasn't everywhere though. It wasn't everywhere like now. It wasn't everywhere
But
like
it
now.
but we didn't, a lot of the things that they have to deal with, being bullied on social media. I mean, that's a
Yeah, that's
huge
crazy.
thing. And then, I just saw so much. I saw um this one student, she was a freshman in high school, and
Okay.
she got expelled from the district because she was selling cookies. And they were, of course, cookies, edibles.
What?
Yeah, but when she got caught, um, they, of course said, well, we're gonna have to call your mom. And then she said, yeah. But that was their way to survive. That was their hustle. They
Well,
they
oh, these
made
were
the they
edible
made
cookies.
edible cookies. They made the cookies
Oh, okay.
together. They made the cookies together. That was
Yeah.
their hustle. That's how they got their money. And so to her, it wasn't anything really wrong because that's how they ate.
Yeah.
That's how they lived. That's how, and for me, that really broke me down because to expel after you hear the story and then be like, well, we have to,
Hmm.
and I understand there's rules,
Yeah.
but to me, each person needs to be dealt with differently because of their circumstances.
And
Everybody
that,
doesn't come from the same place.
and that's the
And
problem.
so, after seeing a lot, just I could go on and on, but after seeing all of this, I decided that, I needed to do something, maybe, to start something, a group, something to get
Hmm.
these kids, to get their attention, to help them, to teach them. The dropout rate was ridiculous. Um,
Oh,
so I started my nonprofit, and it's to facilitate change in the community, through our school, through our youth, through their families. We want to teach them basic life skills training, because when I was growing up, we learned life skills. A lot of the things that we learned them at school, like sewing a button on, and we had home ec, and we
yeah.
had all of those things. Well, they don't really have all those things now. They don't even teach kids how to write and how to sign their name.
Oh, wow.
That cursive writing is out. They don't do that anymore because they say it's not important. So, um, just basic life skills training, hygienes, just different things like that. I mean, I just it's disgusting, but going in the bathroom and just seeing things like, okay, well, wrap it up. They don't know. They haven't been taught.
Mhm.
So I felt a need to, like I said, if I couldn't save everybody, I was going to help, save some. So, um, we started the nonprofit in,
The name of it?
Good Measure Inc., and it comes from Luke 6:38.
Okay.
Um, yes, and so
Luke 36, you said?
Luke 6:38. I believe that if you give, it shall be given unto you, and good measure, pressed down,
Okay.
shake it together. That scripture. And a lot of
Gotcha.
times people look at it like when they think it's going to be given to you, they think it's going to be money, but it's not. It's not. No, because I
Yeah, it's
let
more
me
than
tell
money
you,
out
I
here.
haven't made a dime. So I started pre-COVID, and I got my 501c3 in 2000 at the end of the 2018. So 2019 rolls around and boom, here comes COVID. So that kind of shut me down. So I really wasn't doing much. So I said, okay, we got to get going. So we started off our first event that we had a webinar training, which was a website design training. It was virtual, and kids could sign up for it for free. And it was a virtual website training class. No coding. You didn't learn coding, but you just learned how to build your own website.
Okay.
Um, and we had about 25 participants on that. And like I said, it was free of charge. The instructor was Keno Smith, and he came in and he taught how to build we would use Wix.com. He taught how to, from
Okay.
start to finish, how to build a website and how to launch it.
Hmm.
So that gave them an opportunity to have something. What we're trying to teach them is that there's always a skill set that you can learn. Some of these kids don't want to already have in their head, they're not going to college. They don't want to go to college. They don't have the means. They don't have the support. So they get to the point where they're like, okay, they're a senior and they're saying, you know what? I'm not going to college. I'm not going to do anything. So I'm just going to drop out. I'm going to go try to work at Ford. Not that anything's wrong with Ford.
Trade
I'm going to
school, baby.
try to get in Chrysler, wherever they try, but everybody can't get in there. I'm going to go and try to get in Amazon, whatever they're trying to do. I mean, it's hard unless you got a hookup sometimes.
True.
So we wanted them to know that, hey, why not focus on being your own boss, being an entrepreneur?
Hmm.
Just because you don't go to college doesn't mean that you can't be your own boss. You can't be an entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
So
Trade school, big money.
that's right. That's right. So with that, we taught them how to. Well, he taught them. I sat on the class. I learned. I did my website by the class too. By a matter of fact.
Okay.
So so we they went through the course. They were able to do that, learn how to build the website. And now here they have a sense of pride knowing that they have something that they can come to you as a business owner and say, hey, do you need a website made? Look at this is some of my work. Instead of
Okay.
$2,500 that some people charge, they could, be $500 or $600. And here they are, 16 years old,
Make money.
making a good, and so they were excited about that. They were really excited. So that was the first thing that we did. And it was a big success. They loved it.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was great. We also did a small business workshop where the well-known Mr. Warren Galloway came and did the workshop for us. He is an expert in micro lending. He's written over 13 books, and he came and he did the website. He did the training for us, and it was a small
Okay.
business workshop. And we did a pitch. It was called Ready, Set, Grow. And what we did is we had business people that entrepreneurs that wanted to, start a business, or just people that had a small business that they just started. So we had
Okay.
those individuals to come in, and he walked them through. He has a book that's called 10 Easy Steps to Growing Your Business, starting and growing your business. So he walked them through all of that. And then, so what we did was we had them to come in, they learned. The last day they did a pitch. They had to pitch their business. And the person that did the best job in pitching their business, they got a $500 scholarship from Good Measure.
Okay.
So the success story with that is we had a young lady who owns a business called Cousins Bundles, and she's in Detroit. She's has 2 locations now. She took the $500 that she got from
Mm-hmm.
the pitch contest, and she used it to open up her second location to get everything that she needed. But what
Nice.
she is trying to do is a mobile. She's trying to do a mobile. So she does the bundles where you do like laundry detergent. She coupons. So when she does the coupons, she gets all of that stuff free, or most of the stuff she can get pretty much free, and then she sells it at low cost to people that, so they can afford it.
Okay.
So what she wants to do is have a mobile truck to come around to different areas that can't get to the grocery store, like senior centers and those kinds of things, and make it affordable for them. So we were really happy about that we had a really good success story with that, because that was kind
Mm-hmm.
of like we could see the fruits of our labor with that. Because like I said, she actually was able to, that was actually able to help her out with opening her second location. Um, so,
Any other services y'all provide besides training and workshops?
well, we're doing, we gave away backpacks. We just did a backpack drive. We gave away 125 backpacks. That not only did we give away the backpacks, they were filled with school supplies, hand
Nice.
sanitizers, masks, hand wipes.
Okay.
I also just donated to the high school. Donated some hand sanitizers, wipes, masks to the high school. Because a lot of times the kids are asked to bring different things. And, like when you start school and they give you this list and they say, when we were in school, maybe, well, I can remember when the
Yeah.
backup, because when I was in school, we didn't have a list. But when my kids were in
Nah.
school, the list was maybe a box of Kleenex and I don't know, something simple. But now the list is like,
That's crazy. They get all that now. Dang.
man,
Listen.
they want you to supply everything. And a lot of these kids, man, they barely being able to bring their own pencil, and you want them to bring all this stuff. So we try to make sure that we help accommodate with those things.
Okay.
We also, if kids are in need of any clothing, because a lot of times, like, kids will go to school and it's sad to say, but people make fun. They look at the shoes. They don't have the shoes they have, and it's just a big mess. I wish all
Yeah.
schools. Honestly, I'm pro school
Unit.
uniforms. Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it would
Get
keep
it
down a
catalog.
lot. Yeah, it would keep down a lot of confusion and everything. But a lot of the parents, they want to take their rent money and they want to buy these $200 Jordans and all of this, and it makes no sense to me. But Hey,
Yeah.
um, but so we also are we will, if kids are in need of different things, we will help them as far as getting things that they need and not junk, you know. Like I tell people when they donate, don't donate me anything that your kids wouldn't wear if they could still fit it. You know,
That's
some people, and a lot of times, most of the time when I get stuff from people, it still has tags on it. And that's what I like. I like, you know, when I ask people to donate stuff, you know, I'm representing my nonprofit here. I do not want to give somebody something that I wouldn't have my own grandkids or kids wear. And so I try to give them, you know, good stuff, new stuff, stuff that they'll be proud to wear.
hmm
I want to eventually um, look at maybe having, I think the schools, it would be important if the schools would have like washers and dryers in the school. Like kids can bring, you know, clothes and come
Okay.
early, throw them in when they get ready, you know, and then, you know, make that, they can even to monitor it, make it a class. Because I remember when I was working at the middle school and I was a secretary,
hmm
and one of the young boys, he had been missing for a couple of weeks, and so the truancy officer sent letters and they finally was able to reach the
hmm
parent, and the little boy came back to school. And when he was coming into the office to talk to the principal, and he was sitting down, and one of the teachers was going in on him about, you know, him not being there and him missing all this work and blah 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 blah
hmm
blah. And I'm just sitting there like, okay, here we go. And finally he said, I didn't have any clean clothes.
Oh wow.
And literally, I had to get up because it broke my heart. So all he needed was clean clothes, and he would have been at school. And it was just sad. It was sad to me that, you know,
That's still
here
happening.
he
That's sad.
just he didn't come to school because he didn't have clean clothes. And you know how kids are. You come to school with something you had on yesterday, they're gonna say
Yeah.
something. You come to
Yeah.
school smelling funky, they're gonna say something. So he just, for 2 weeks, he had to wait until his mama got paid so she could get the laundry stuff, the quarters, the laundry money. I mean, you know, the laundry detergent. He couldn't come to school. Now, how simple would that have been? And here I am like, boy, come on, let's go to your house. Come get your clothes. I'm gonna wash them. You know, that's what me, that's what
I
I would
had
do. And
teachers in middle school that did that for some kids that
you
had that
know,
issue.
and there's so many things that we could do, and there's so little. You know, it's
hmm
like little things. And to me, that would be such a good resource for the kids to have. Even if they didn't put it in the schools, maybe give them vouchers to a local laundromat,
True.
you know, something of that
Yeah.
nature. So there's so many things in my head that, you know, I just got to get it to in front of the right person. And hopefully platforms like this can help me get those things in front of the right person, that, you know, maybe we can get those vouchers to people, that, to the kids, like, okay, so maybe once a week, here's your voucher. Go to this laundromat. It pays for so many washes. It pays for your detergent. It pays for everything. Just take this there. They'll get your clothes done. You know, things like that. It's so small, but it's so big. And you know,
Absolutely.
it's sad to say that it's those type of things that are keeping our kids from learning. And our kids are being placed in special ed classes. They don't need to be. Um,
hmm
we need to find out what their trauma is. You know, if you come to school and you never get sleep at night because, let's say, your mama just parties all night and she be having people over all night, and you trying to sleep but you can't sleep. So you come to class, you come to school, you tired. It's not that you don't want to do the work or you can't do the work, you don't understand the
hmm
work, you're tired. So now
Realize.
they've they've labeled you, and now you're special ed because you're not doing the work. No, no, that's not the case.
Yeah,
They're
your home life
tired
won't together.
or they're hungry. They didn't have food this week. You know, so it's really sad, but And a lot of people probably will get mad at me for saying it, but it's true. I mean, we need to find the root problem before we start before we can help these kids. We have to find what their issue is. What is your
I mean,
problem? What's going on? What and it basically 9 times out of 10, it starts in the home. It's something that's going on in the home. If you can help with that, you will have some kids that can strive, can thrive, can learn, because these kids are hungry. They want to learn. They don't want to stay in the same situation that their
true.
mom and their grandmama's in. So they sitting there like, oh, I hate this place at home. I hate this place. I want to do better. I want to get out of here. But how can they get
Hmm.
out if nobody's helping them?
That's true.
So there comes good measure, and that's what I'm here for whatever reason. Whenever I see kids, I mean, they know, they run up to me, Miss Glenn, they know that my phone number, they can call me, they can
Hmm.
message me on Facebook. I mean, if it's just to talk, if it's just to give you some encouraging words, it's just so much that these kids have to deal with. They're dealing with identity, sexuality, like they don't know if they want to be a boy or a girl. They dealing with all this stuff. And a lot of times, we stick with the Bible, yes, but a lot of times you have to go and you just listen to them, just because you got to catch the fish before you can clean it. So if you
Yeah.
automatically God, and God, dog, you going to hell,
Right.
you done,
Every on their level.
you done already lost them. They're not listening to you. So you have to bring them in. You have to be gentle. You
That'd
have
be
to
a friend.
talk. You have to talk to them. You have to talk to
Hmm.
them so they can understand, and then tell them. Some of them you're not gonna get through here because they know everything. But they'll
Oh
remember
yeah.
the conversation. They'll remember
True.
it, be like, oh man, Miss Glenn told me that. But they're not gonna remember, no, they're not gonna remember all of that. So sometimes it's just, listen to them. Listen, see what they saying, see what they got to say. So
True.
that's what I do. And any way that I can help a kid succeed and achieve and be better, that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay. Shout out to good friend Russ for saying good evening.
Hello.
Make sure to check the show out. This part of the show where promote, market what you do. Anything you got going on, upcoming events, let them know.
Well, we don't have any upcoming events right now, but we will be starting fresh at the beginning of the year. We do have, we're going to be putting out, excuse me, some sidewalk libraries. We did have some
Okay.
sidewalk libraries in our communities that are kind of less fortunate. And I did talk to the library, and she said that they destroyed them, so they weren't going to put them back out there.
Oh wow.
So I've actually gotten some old newspaper boxes. They're plastic. I don't know if you remember,
Okay.
like how the free press
Yeah.
boxes. So I have like 4 of those, and we're gonna get them chained down. We're gonna let the kids, put their handprints, just kind of make it fun. And we're gonna do 2 of them. I think we're gonna do sidewalk libraries, and 2 of them I'm gonna do like a food pantry. So I'll let people
Okay.
like put canned goods in there, and then if somebody needs something, they can just come and get it, and that kind of
Mhm.
thing. So that's what we're gonna do in the spring, and we're gonna involve the kids. So let them help with all of this stuff. That's one of the things that we're planning. We are planning. And all of these dates are to be determined because I have to have my end of the year meeting so we can put everything on the books.
Mhm.
But we are going to have a fashion show, and this is one of my favorite
All
things
right.
that this is one of my favorite things that we do. So what I do is, it's kind of like a dress for less fashion show,
Okay.
and the big thing right now is thrifting, right?
Oh, it is. They brought it back.
Thrifting is
Okay.
it, okay? Thrifting. Everybody, well, you don't thrift. Are you married?
Yeah, I mean,
Your
I
wife
I'm
doesn't
not
thrift.
trying.
Your
I
wife
don't try
doesn't
to
thrift.
buy the most expensive stuff, but
Oh
I
man,
don't be hearing people
thrifting,
saying, "Oh, I go to the thrift store." I don't hear people that I know
man,
that
thrift
go there.
stores. You
That's a
gotta go
great
out,
place to go.
and you gotta go out in the nice areas, man. You would be so surprised
Yeah,
what people throw away or give away. Okay,
absolutely.
so anyways, thrifting is it. So What I love to do is have a dress for, it's called Dress for Less. So what I do, what we did is we had a fashion show and we
Mm-hmm.
gave the kids $20 each.
Okay.
And we go to this thrift store and they buy what they can buy for $20. Now,
Okay.
some people came back with one outfit. Some people came. I had one girl to buy 3 outfits with
Wow.
$20. And when I tell you she was sharp, so we make it fun.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and with that, they also see that you can take $20 and get stuff and still look cool and nice
Mm-hmm.
instead of trying to have $200 for one pair of gym shoes. So they really, I mean, it's really, really a fun event. And we're gonna do that. That's on the books. I just
Okay.
don't have a date for it yet. But I'll definitely let you know. We will be calling, letting all kids. I'll be posting it. We'll want any, anybody's welcome to join. But it's a fun event. What we'll do is we'll sell tickets. We'll have dinner. So the tickets will include dinner and the fashion show. And then the money, of course, goes to the nonprofit, which then in return goes back to the community to help people. But yeah, it's a fun event. The kids learn a lot. They
Okay.
at the end they talk about, man, this was fun. I couldn't believe that I could find this kind of stuff at the thrift store. I mean, we talking. They've found True Religion,
Okay.
Nike,
Wow.
Polo. I mean, so they was legit sharp, for
Yeah.
$20.
It was a song
And
you're
so,
talking
yeah,
about.
so
Wait.
they really enjoyed it. And I'm telling you, that was probably one of the best. I love that because, it really teaches them a lot about the value of money. We also are doing a literacy program where we're going to do financial literacy, where we're going to teach the kids how to save money.
Okay.
We're going to have them open up a savings account,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to give them a certain time period. And if they save a certain amount, we're going to match it.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna match it up to an amount because some people be slick and be like, "Dad, let me borrow $1,000 just until this contest is over so they can match." No, 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 we're not doing that. We're not doing that
Yeah, yeah. That's
because some of them rascals they slick.
yeah, that's true.
But yeah, so we're gonna do that, and I'm excited about that because a lot of times we'll our kids will grow up, and when they grow up it's like we send them out and then it's like, wait a minute, they weren't prepared.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to be honest, I'm guilty because I have twins that are 29 and I have a 35-year-old, and my husband and I manage our money well, but we really didn't show them how to manage it well.
Oh,
We didn't sit down and say, okay, this is what this is, and every time they wanted something, of course, growing up was like, well, I want my kids to have better than I did. So of course, when they wanted something, it was always
mm-hmm.
the best. It was always this, here. And we never really sat down and showed them exactly, okay, but here, I'm gonna give you this, but this is the bills that we didn't do that. So, a lot of times, especially in the Black community, we do not teach our kids how to save because we ourselves don't have a savings account. We live from check to check. And this is, I'm not painting everybody with that, the same paintbrush, but the majority of us, I mean, let's just be honest. I mean,
Third of the country.
yeah, I mean, I really didn't even life insurance. I mean, I can remember the little man coming to my house when I was younger, trying to, catch up with my dad to get the $20 or whatever it was for him and my mom's life insurance. And I'm thinking, what? So a lot of us don't even have life insurance policies. And you see that when somebody dies and you see all these GoFundMe things, and it's like, that's not life insurance. And so we have to be able to teach our children these are the important things in life, not, your clothes, not your hair, your shoes, your car, not all of that. These are the important things. We want to leave a legacy. You want to get out of where you are. So you have to start changing that mindset so
True.
that you can say, you know what, my kids are going to have better than I had. And it's going to
Mm-hmm.
start with me. I'm going to learn how to make money, manage money, save money, invest,
Mm-hmm.
and get things. I mean, look, I watch my neighbor across the street. They have this huge camper and they're always going up north to their house up north, always going up north, and it's like, that's so common. But for us, it's like, we go up to up north, we going to see Aunt Johnny and them. We're not going to our cabin or we're not going to our house. I mean, it's, you know what I'm saying? It's like we don't
Yeah,
have something to leave our kids or our grandkids. And so we have to be able to teach the this generation that those things are important.
true.
So, it's just a lot, we're like with the financial literacy, that's a big piece. That's a big piece
So
because
definitely come back to the show when you have dates lined up so you can talk about it.
definitely, definitely. But yeah, that's a huge piece. And we definitely need to teach our children about the money piece. And just we're gonna do pop-ups. Like there's a lot of kids that, nowadays they want to do these pop-up shows, these pop-ups where you put the tents out, you come. So we're gonna give them an opportunity to showcase
Okay.
whatever it is that they sell. We're gonna have people out there. Maybe I'll even have you come out there and be, what we're gonna do is have people walk around and tell them, kind of like a Shark Tank thing, like yay or nay.
Okay.
Do you think it'll make it? Is it going to be, because everybody want to be, sell their little product or whatever, but sometimes it ain't it. That's just, you,
Yeah.
that ain't it.
You gotta think it through. You gotta think it through.
So yeah, so we'll have different people going around and like, yeah, this is great. Okay, well maybe you can tweak it this way by doing this, or maybe you could. So it's kind of like a way that we can help them and give them advice without them realizing that we're
Okay.
giving them advice, because it's hard because they know so much. They know everything.
Yeah, they still gotta come to that conclusion on their own. So let's
Yeah,
see if their
yeah,
idea or not. You just gave
yeah.
them.
So
Teach
this
how to
way,
correct.
it's like, oh man, that's a good idea. But what if you did this too? And then
Mhm.
then they'll catch on. So those are some of the things that we are definitely looking
Okay.
to do next year. Um, getting everything, hopefully this all these viruses and all this stuff will die down and we'll be able to, kind of get back out there. I don't know if we're ever going to be back to normal, but you
Yeah,
know,
it's a new normal.
the new normal. So we'll just have to figure it out. But yeah, those are some of the things that we're, working on and getting them on the books. And
Okay.
yeah,
So what's been your biggest challenge?
money.
Okay.
No, yeah. Grants. The problem that I found, I actually had applied for a grant through Wayne County and
Mhm.
just different people, but um, I've been blessed though, because the first grant that I got was like $10,000, and that was from a bank.
Nice.
And a lot of times it was from Flagstar Bank. And actually, they granted me twice for $10,000. And so kudos to Flagstar.
Mhm.
But it's really hard because being out, if you're not in Detroit, it's kind of hard because most of the grant money, believe it or
Yeah.
not, goes to Detroit. So if
Oh,
you're not really in
okay.
the city, if you're not really doing a lot, it's hard. It's hard to get money out here because it's funneled through. They get a lot of the grant money.
Okay.
So yeah, but I've been fortunate enough to, like I said, the bank granted me money, Comcast granted me money. So what I do is just go online and I Google, when people grants applications open, then I get out there and I start. I don't, excuse me, I don't have a grant writer or anything because I can't pay a grant writer. I don't have any funds
Mhm.
for that. So I just pray. I pray over my computer and I'm like, okay, Lord. And I go out there and I just fill out the applications. And um, we had last year we had a pretty good year. I think last year we did $25,000 we had.
Awesome.
Yeah. Um, and it sounds like a lot, but when you want to do, different things, you have to pay for venues, you have to pay for
Hmm.
the guests to come, you have to pay for the speaker, you have to pay, and then it starts to dwindle down. And
Great
so
start though. I ain't put together no 25 grand to do nothing like that. So to me,
So, I
that's
mean,
it.
yeah, it's so the funding part is the difficult part. And
Okay.
then also sometimes even like the weird part, Jeff, is like even having the free website design program, it was hard getting people to sign up. And
Oh wow.
I don't know why. It's like when we offer things, sometimes I don't know if our community looks at it like, oh, here goes something else free. Like it's a handout and maybe they get offended, but it's
Yeah,
hard. I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand that.
it's a perception, and they're not looking at it as an opportunity to get a skill to better you
Mhm.
because they
So I
might
say,
not
well, maybe
think.
I should charge $1.
I mean, if you offering coding, website design, whatever, for free,
Man, I
why
was
don't you
like,
do that?
I was like, people,
Like,
it's
okay,
free. I have the grant money. It's free. And it was like pulling teeth, but who the people that were on it were the people that were meant to be on it. It was a 9-year-old girl on there, and she actually
nice.
she did. She's 9 or 10. She was 10. I'm sorry. She did blogging. She made her
Okay,
own
nice.
she did her own website and everything. So, I mean, there are things out there. There are things, you just have to, I don't know, people just have to be willing to take the assistance. And sometimes that's hard too. And I don't know. And I get it. I get it. It's hard for sometimes for people to be like, yeah, I need help.
I worked in Wayne State as custodian. They paid for college, and a lot of my former coworkers, I ain't trying to do all that. Like, but it's a free degree.
Yeah,
You can
exactly.
leave this joint and work anywhere with that degree, and you don't want to put that time in. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
this new government cheese right here. I need
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Use some
So,
options.
yeah.
We do it that way.
So yeah, I would
So,
say that those two things are the biggest challenge, and also I work out of my home, which is difficult too.
okay.
Um, I don't really have like when I do have webinars or meetings or something in-person events. It's kind of hard because I'll have to go and rent a venue.
Hmm.
So I'm praying that God blesses me with a huge facility. I can see a community center. I can see youth coming in daily
See that?
for mentoring,
I'm in
um,
agreement.
for playing basketball, so they don't have to be on the street worried about something happening to them, for lunch, for dinner, for
Hmm.
breakfast, just for love, just to have somewhere where they can come and feel like they're a part of something. And that's what I can see. That's my vision. I'm claiming it and
Hmm.
I'm decreeing it.
Oh, yeah. I'm agree
um,
with you. You're
so
gonna have it.
I'm just waiting.
Coming soon.
I'm just waiting on God to say, step right on in. So here it is. But yeah, but so hopefully with platforms like this, I mean, I went down to, I think her name is Marie Lofton or Adams, that has that center in Detroit that Ford remodeled for her. And I mean, I think they gave her like over $1 million in grant money,
Oh
and
wow.
so when you go in the building, on the floor it has Ford's symbol on the gym floor.
Okay.
Well, hey,
Nice.
they can come out here and give me a building. They can put a symbol. Look, I'll put it right here. They can put that bad boy right there. Okay.
Cut the
Um,
check. I hear that. I hear that. I like that.
So I'm hoping that Amazon, there's so many people out here. We have Amazon, we have a Kroger that just put a facility, what is it called, where you can go and you can order your food and they deliver it in a truck. We got Kroger that just came
Okay.
out there with that. We have Domino's, the corporate office is here. We have so many different things here that I'm like, okay, if y'all all just donated me like couple of 100,000,
Have
and
you reached out to him?
I can. It's so hard. I have, but I'm gonna keep reaching. And like I said, with platforms like this, maybe somebody I see it and
Anybody that's
somebody,
watching want to
so
help
yes,
out? Feel
yes, and
free.
want to help out because our youth, we have a Romulus Activity Center, but of course it costs to get in there, and it's not cheap. It's
Mhm,
like a YMCA. It's not cheap.
mhm.
If you're not a member, $7 a day. It might be $7 a day, something like that to get in.
Inflation.
I mean,
Yeah.
who has that? Come on now. That's a loaf of bread, some bologna, and some juice for the week. Come on now.
Yep.
And
Ain't lying.
so I want something where they don't have to pay to come in. It's just a nice community center where we know that our kids are safe.
I got
So
that. So, what has been your impact?
I'm sorry, say it again.
What has been your impact?
I think my impact is just my presence and people knowing that I'm out here, my boots are on the ground. I'm trying to um, do the work. I can see, but I think probably one of my biggest impacts would be when the kids come back to me and say, thank you for what you did. You didn't have to do that, or nobody's ever did that for me. One girl, I would wait after school for her because she would walk from, she was lived in Detroit, but her mom wanted to bring her to school out here. And so she
Hmm.
would drop her off, and so she would have to walk to the library from the middle school, which is probably about
Ooh,
maybe 4 miles, four or
wow.
5 miles. And I saw her walking all the time, and I stopped. I said, "Where are you going?" And she said, "Well, I have to go to the library until my mom gets off at 7." And I said, "You walk to the library every day?" And she said, "Yeah." I said, "Get in this car." So from that point on, I was taking her back and forth. Well, the school found out, of course, that wasn't allowed for me to do. But so I told her, I said, "Meet me at the corner, then I'll pick you up." So I still got her to that library. But I think the that probably would be the impact that I make, those little small things. And it doesn't
Mhm.
have to, a lot of people look for an impact to be something huge and something big. To me, those little small things,
All
and
the
like I
things.
said, one measure at a time. And that's what my slogan is: enhancing lives one measure at a time. And a measure is a unit. It doesn't have to be like, it's just a little unit. And like I said when I started, if I can just help one person, then I've done what God wants me to do. But I know there's so many people out there that are, in need of it.
True.
And I'm here. I'm here to help them in any kind of way that I can.
Okay. Last question. What advice do you have for someone trying to find their purpose?
Oh my gosh. Listen to God. Talk to God. If you're in a job and you're making 6 figures plus bonuses, traveling the world, and you're still not happy, that's not the right job for you. Um, Your purpose is where your heart is. Um, your heart is where your purpose is. Um, you have to, and I mean, the thing about it is, I fought it for so long, and this is probably the most fulfilling, the most rewarding
Mhm.
um, thing that I've done. And it's not really that I'm doing. I mean, I don't get paid. I haven't paid myself a dime. My board keeps yelling at me and saying, "Okay, when you gonna start taking a paycheck?" But I just feel like until we start getting enough money to where that's we can do that, then until then I'm fine. God has blessed me thus far. We haven't missed a beat. Even with
Okay.
the 2 incomes, I mean, God is just, his math don't make sense because it just, I don't know how it works, but it works.
That's true.
Um, and so I would tell them to pray about it. And the funny thing is, most of the time we know. I mean, we know what our passion is. We know what we light up when we talk about it. I light up when I talk about kids, youth. I love them. I love them with my whole heart.
Hmm.
And listen to God, because if you don't, you can wind up like this, broke down. I mean,
And
I'm telling you, my
he'll nail
whole.
your head because I didn't expect you doing what I'm doing.
I mean, and I could have learned a lot sooner and be sitting here doing this, but no, I was hard headed. But that's okay. because he's using this because a lot of the young girls are like, "Oh, Mrs. Glenn, I can't believe you cut your hair. That is so pretty. You look so nice." And not that I didn't do it for that. I did it because God told me to do it. He told me, number one, I was being a hypocrite because I was still trying to cover it up, putting wigs on, weave, all this other stuff. And he said, "You're being a hypocrite. You're trying to teach these young girls to be proud of who they are, to be okay with their bodies, to be okay with their natural hair, to do this and do that. And here you are, you won't even show that you're bald headed." And I said, "Oh my goodness." And so I came out. I came out the closet.
Yeah.
I came out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I've never felt so free. And I feel like I am a walking example to the young girls that accept me the way I am. This is me. And if you can't accept me like this, then you don't need to be in my circle. And so I'm hoping that they can look at me. And this was hard. This was very hard to do.
I can
Um,
imagine.
but I'm hoping that, they can look at me and say, I love myself the way that I am, regardless of what kind of
Mhm.
flaw, what kind of imperfection you feel that you have.
Look awesome.
Yourself and stop looking at all these videos of these fake bodies and all of this stuff and love yourself for what you are, who you are. You are fearfully and wonderfully made by God. So that's what I would say.
Absolutely. And my teammate says impressive insight, which I agree.
Thank
I really agree with that.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And I appreciate you having me on so that I can talk about my nonprofit. Hopefully, one day you'll see it in lights and you'll be like, "I interviewed her." I'm
Oh,
hoping.
that, that's
I'm claiming
guaranteed.
it.
Done
I'm
deal.
putting it in the atmosphere because
We're gonna have multiple rec centers. What you
yeah.
talking about?
Oh, ooh, come on, come on. I receive it. Come on.
We need to go global with it. Ain't just
Come on.
national,
I
local.
receive it. I receive it.
There's a
And
lot of kids that need help.
I receive it. I ask people that if they want to donate to my nonprofit, they can go to the website www.goodmeasure-nonprofit.org. We do take donations, and right now that's strictly what we're working off of is donations. So we appreciate anything that anybody can donate. Also, they can send me a message at Kim Glenn 067 at gmail.com or good measure nonprofit at gmail.com. And if they need anything or if they have some youth that are in need of clothes or anything, reach out to me. I can try to, get them things that they need. We want to be, we want to be, we want to be help. We want to be in the community. We want people to know that we're out here and we're out here to help. So
Yeah, and if you notice, if you ever went to my Facebook page, I put the show together, and I put, if you want your email with your website, people can reach you. Put our information there.
okay, definitely.
You on LinkedIn?
Um, I am, but I'm not. So I need to get better with it. I'm on
Yeah,
that
definitely
new.
utilize that.
Yeah, I need to. I really need to, and I'm gonna do better. That's on my list of things to do to learn how to use it and to get better at using it. So
Yeah, it definitely help you.
okay, yeah. So anything that you can, any advice you can give me, throw up my way. If anything comes up to where you like, hey, I got somebody that you can meet that has a nonprofit. So yes, please spread the word,
So
spread
if
the
you,
name. And again, I really
yeah,
do.
and definitely talk to my teammate. She'll help you.
Thank you, Miss King. Thank you so much.
Like, so if, say today, if you had time, if you do got a page on LinkedIn, if you connect with me on there,
Uh huh.
Jeffrey L. Edwards, I would post reach out to her if you want to partner and work with a nonprofit.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna work on it. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. You know what? It's gonna be done this week. And that's gonna be done. So, and a lot of times it takes somebody to say something to push us. Sometimes we're kind of like our own worst enemy. Maybe I'm not moving forward because of that. And maybe God put it in your spirit to tell you, and I've been telling myself, I need to get better on these social
This
media.
show's about you, so I'm here to
So,
market, promote,
yeah,
get you out
so
there, whatever
I
you're doing.
appreciate it. Yeah, so I'm gonna get on that because hey, there could be somebody out there. You're right that
See, my teammate, they do it.
great. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. So
She's a
definitely
former guest.
I'm important.
lovely LinkedIn streets, man. People work with.
Yes, well, thank you. Yes, thank you for this platform. I really appreciate it. I went back and looked at some of your segments and right where you did have some heavy hitters on there. And I'm like, oh, he got some people writing books and all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, now he want little old me on here. I don't
know. See, my mission from the person that has the idea to start a business to all the way is profitable. Every step along the way is someone that's hesitant to get on their purpose. So for that whole spectrum in all career fields, that's a guest on my show.
That's great. That's great.
Some of them have amazing titles, some don't, but from conception of idea to where it's profitable, you're a guest on the show.
Well, that's great. That's great.
I live by my tagline, we treat you like family.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Yeah, I love that. And, we're stronger together. So who knows? Maybe some billionaire will see this and they'll be like, you know what? I want to donate. So.
Well, sister said I heard we bought to write a book, correct? I guess you're asking you about to write a book?
Well, hey, maybe I should. Okay. All right. I don't know. That's never been an agenda.
I'm working on my third book, so she might be talking about you.
Oh, you on your third book?
Yeah.
I saw the ones that were out there. What's your third one? Is it private or you already put the name out there?
No, the third book is how to build a L.L.C brand.
Oh,
getting out the mud.
Okay.
So, like, a step on how I did what I did so far.
That's great. That's awesome.
More professional. Editing and all that on that one.
Kudos to you, sir. Kudos to you. So
I'm gonna be global at some point.
Hey, we're gonna put it out there. We claiming that.
Absolutely.
We claiming it. Yeah. So keep doing what you're doing and keep reaching out, keep helping others because that's what you're doing. You're helping others, and in the process, I know God is gonna grant you all the desires of your heart, and He's going to enlarge your territory. And so you just keep doing what you're doing.
And a lot of people who spoke to me that watched the show, they like the small person I'm putting the shine on. I'm like, okay, never really. I'm just being obedient because God be like this all day. Hey, do it. Okay, gone, bro. I don't want no smoke.
So you say, I don't want no smoke, Lord.
You hard-headed. I don't want the problems no more. So
exactly. Wind up looking like me, but hey, that's okay. I'm a rocket.
You look awesome. You look like the Dora Milaje from Black Panther.
Well, thank you so much. Just thank you so much. So I appreciate it.
I definitely want to thank Good Measure Inc. nonprofit executive director Kim Glenn for sharing the story and her time. Reach out to her, partner with her, help her with her vision and goal with her nonprofit. It's a great cause for the kids, and I expect to see more. She's going to be on LinkedIn more as well, and
that's right.
A lot of great resources going to help you. I already see it.
Thank you.
So I thank you for coming. Hope everybody have a great night. Check out this awesome outro that I've done. Here we go. 3, 1.